Welcome to this edition of Tech Edge. I can't even talk because I'm so upset today. I should have been filming an hour ago, but instead I was fixing CryptoLocker on a computer that I installed for a customer on Friday, as in 2 days ago, and it already has an infection. How is that even possible? I want to hit the table, but it's going to mess up the microphone.
Well, we already know how it happened, potentially.
But we're going to learn about that more in a second. So today's all about viruses, malware, crypto viruses, stuff you hear in the news, WannaCry, anything that encrypts your data. And I know we kind of talked about this in a couple past episodes, but today we're really going to get in deep. And we haven't...
How deep are we going to go?
We're going to go into the wormhole.
Okay.
And
tell us about your morning today.
well, we're going to have some on-site footage. But I wasted a whole Monday morning fixing something that shouldn't have been broken in the first place. We installed a brand new computer server set up for a customer Friday. Transferred all their data, set up QuickBooks, got all the users working. Everything was flawless. Everybody was happy. They call me this morning. They go, hey, we can't get into QuickBooks. We go out there. We try to open QuickBooks. Gives us a licensing error. Find out all the files, including the license file, are encrypted with a older variant of a encryption virus. Not the WannaCry, but an older version. Now, that computer was set up on Friday. No one used it Saturday and Sunday. The office was closed. And Monday, they come to find it encrypted. So how is that possible?
Which Windows is it?
Windows 7, fully updated. Brand new. Computer just came out of the box.
Was there any peripherals that had old data plugged into that computer for any reason at all?
Yes.
That's a problem.
The customer had an existing backup drive that they asked us to use. And we did. And it must have had some type of old variant of some type of crypto virus, and it infected over the weekend.
Something had to be stuck to it.
So why does this happen to people?
Well, because some people want to make money off of it, right?
So the play is they infect the computer, they lock all your files, and then they go, I want Bitcoin to unlock it.
Well, look at criminals. What do they do? They're after something that they want, right? And you have it. If it's valuable, you're willing to pay for it. So if they locked up your files and they're valuable to you, what are those worth to you? $200, $300, $500? That's easy.
Yeah,
You
but
can pay
sometimes they don't even you give them the money and they don't even give you the encryption key back.
You're dealing with terrorists.
Now the funny part is because you're saying Bitcoin. I remember that it used to be like $250 Walmart gift card, whatever, something like that. Now it's like moving to Bitcoin, which is totally like
You could walk into a 7-Eleven, use their ATM, and transfer money into Bitcoin.
Yeah.
That's how mainstream Bitcoin has become.
Once they get it, they want to know how to protect myself. How did this happen? How do we keep it from happening again? So I always recommend cloud-based backup because if you have a local backup, it will get encrypted, just like this customer. Their backup was actually the cause of the virus because it was from an old computer. Cloud-based backup is disconnected technically from your network. So the encrypted files might get uploaded, but there'll be previous versions still stored in there that you can restore. Antivirus, any suggestions?
Is there like an external hard drive with a built-in firewall so it doesn't let you get all this crap on it?
That's actually a good idea. Kickstarter. I'm not sure. We'll have to look into
That is a
that.
really good idea.
That
That'd
is a
be
good
like
idea.
a network attached.
I'm like, cut that out of the video.
Managed.
Me and Rafal need
It's patent pending. But that would be a cool idea to have a hard drive that actually has a built-in firewall and built-in antivirus or something.
So typically, somebody would have to click on a link on the network or go to the wrong website and get infected, and then that virus will travel through the network. In this case, the customer wasn't even there. So there's other exploit techniques such as what they call an RDP attack, where a attacker can go in through remote desktop and infect your computer and leave. That's especially scary because it's not even you doing the action. You leave your computer on, you leave for the weekend, you come back, your stuff's infected.
So it sounds like it would be best to just power off your server at that point, right? If they're on the weekend off.
That's the way to do it. You can
Just
turn it off.
disconnect from the
Or that's an especially scary attack because it's harder.
What if the server would have had Malwarebytes' new 3.0 software on it?
It's always important to have good AV. If you had some type of antivirus other than Windows Defender, it might have stopped the infection. I can't tell you this particular instance. I'm not sure, but antivirus is always good as long as you stick with one that's good. I mean, a lot like McAfee is not going to help you, and Symantec most likely is not going to help you either. The CEO of Symantec is on record of saying that on a good day, their software gets between 50 and 60% of infections. It stops between 50 to 60%. That still leaves close to 40% of them that they are not getting. It's just like going to the actual doctor. If you go to get a vaccine for a disease that hasn't been known about yet. They don't have a vaccine for that yet.
Well,
that's what daily antivirus updates are, is that they're adding new vaccines in.
A lot of these systems, they have to wait for someone to get infected to be able to figure out a fix and then push that out updates to
Exactly.
everybody else. So unless you've got a real-time scanner that's scanning everything, and if for some reason it doesn't know what it is, it quarantines it, which is what the new Malwarebyte software does, you're not going to be able to get zero-day threat protection from Norton and McAfee
But
anymore.
that's why this new WannaCry virus was partially so bad, is that, first of all, it runs through the network through SMB, which is very quick spreading.
Yep.
But they said a lot of the new viruses have extended infection time, so Sandbox will not catch it.
Correct.
A sandbox is an antivirus. When you open a file, the antivirus opens the file in what they call Sandbox, which is like a protected environment to watch what that file is doing. It's like if you have your kid in their bedroom and you give them a new toy and you watch through the window to see what they're going to do with it.
So you're virtually opening it.
Yeah, it's like checking to make sure that they're not going to kill themselves with it or hurt themselves. It's like that. But if a virus has a delayed write, then it'll open the virus after the sandbox has already been over with or closed out. So that WannaCry spread very quickly and very fast, and it's very smart. The code, the back end code is very smart.
So what do you think, like these guys that make those viruses, like how much money, what's the benefit for them?
Gotcha. Well, like the new one, the WannaCry virus, has generated like $90,000 in about 2 weeks, which sounds like a lot, but it's actually not in the grand scheme of things. The last one that we got hit with CryptoLocker about a year ago, and that one generated millions.
Wow.
So WannaCry, out of like 400,000 people that were infected, only about 1,000 of them actually paid up. And I think that's partially because of consumers being frustrated with getting infected, and they'd rather just lose their stuff than give these bad guys money. And also, you have no guarantee. If you give them the money, there's no guarantee that they're actually going to unlock the files, which is even worse. So now you have no files and less money versus just no files.
Well, talking about money, do you think things like Bitcoin have caused, unregulated money sources and being able to send money without banks' regulations? Do you think this is causing the problem? Do you think it's actually making it so that these people can extort easier, quicker?
Or actually,
why aren't they
people
getting caught?
don't know how to use Bitcoin. Some of those users, that's the first time they hear about Bitcoin. I'm like, that sounds sketchy. I'm not doing anything.
But a lot of
So
the
they're not
time,
gonna pay,
I think it's just a different way to do it. I think like before they used to use Walmart gift cards or Green Dot gift cards or Vanilla gift cards. I mean, it's just like a bank, right? If you open a bank, someone's going to rob it. I mean, it's just criminals just evolved. So now they use Bitcoin because that's probably the best available option. If that wasn't there, they'd find something else.
Right.
Right, I think for the Bitcoin we're gonna have a separate episode, but like, can you just shortly tell me like why it's not traceable, essentially, why the transactions are not traceable?
Do you remember the days of Napster? Do you remember the days of sharing MP3s where it was point to point?
In Poland we had no Napster.
You had no Napster? See, I'm sorry for that.
Raphael knew a guy named Napster that he
we
did
using
know.
dial-up.
Did you use Kazaa?
Yes.
Okay,
That was a
same
P2P,
deal,
right?
Yeah, same Kazaa torrents. Anytime you got a point-to-point like that, there's no middle source to be able to regulate how much was sent, when it was sent, where it was spent. There's absolutely no data.
Well, Bitcoin is kind of like a bank account, but instead of your name being attached to it, the only thing that's attached to it is a number. And it's kind of like a trade. Every time you send somebody money, it's like a trade. So somebody that has Bitcoin doesn't necessarily make them a bad person. You can buy a Dell computer with Bitcoin. And it's hard. You don't know who owns that wallet, so it's completely anonymous. You're just trading that, and it's not even money. It's just a digital number that you're trading to somebody else.
I guess we're gonna have to do a whole episode on
Yeah,
that,
we're gonna do a whole episode on it because it gets very complicated. But in essence, it's like all digital.
So
go ahead.
So these guys that are doing the guys and girls, I'm sure, that are doing these terrible things with ransomware, you got to give them, unfortunately, a little bit of credit for being able to get around the system, to be able to
well, that's what it's about, right? It's about they're trying to develop software to see how far it can spread, to see, to get around. It's like everybody secretly wants to see if they can break into a house or something like that. It's like, can I get around the security that's in place? It's like an escape room.
I've thought about robbing banks my whole life. I've never robbed a bank, and I probably never will. But
no, but the people always want to get.
Of,
they want to get around. They want to be above the law. They want to get around it. I want to outsmart the system.
Also, on the other hand, let's say, I found a loophole. If they tell that to Microsoft, let's say, they're not gonna get paid this way they're getting paid, so that's like a benefit for them.
Right.
So there's no system for them. I'm pretty sure there are some rewards. I think Google does that. Like they will give you a reward if you find some
But
loopholes.
sometimes, like, the people that write the viruses don't actually distribute them. They write them, they sell them off to somebody for malicious purposes, and then that person does it.
And that's a whole separate business.
Now, being on site and working on people's computers and businesses and homes, if they had a baseball bat, they would crush the skulls into these people. And this is the general consensus, because nobody wants to have their time removed from them, their privacy taken from them, and now things are going to cost them money, and you're going to tell them they can't get their stuff back?
So, I mean, the best plan of action is you back up local and online. You have current antivirus update your Windows, even though that sometimes does not help. So it's just a good idea to have it. And keep an offsite backup as well. If you can, make it like a QuickBooks backup once a week on a flash drive or something, and bring it to your house or anything. Put it in the drawer.
Or as they say, expect unexpected. You know, that's so just like with your phones. You know, like when I fix phones, people don't expect their phone to break and they're losing all their pictures. So the same with their computer. You know, they don't expect to lose their data and then still get too late, and you know they could have.
Yeah, ask yourself what would happen if I lost all my files today, or my QuickBooks, or my whole computer wouldn't turn on. How much money would that cost me, or how long would that be bad for? You know, how much downtime can I have without going out of business? Something like that. And then, you know, think about that.
Well, computers are an open source area to be able to get stuff plugged in. Thumb drives, backup drives. Make sure they're protected. You know, you got to follow protocol to make sure that you don't just plug anything into a computer that you don't know what's going on with.
So now, instead of the news, we're going to go to a live malware infection removal and watch me work.
That sounds.
You guys are going to watch me work
For free.
We installed a brand new server at a customer's location on Friday. I'm very upset, by the way. That's why I'm not looking at the camera. I'm too upset.
Or you're driving. That's another reason.
Both things. I installed a brand new server at a customer's location on Friday, which was today's Monday. She calls me this morning. They're having trouble accessing the files. So we log into the server to check it out via RDP, which is Windows Remote Desktop. This server is fully updated Windows 7 Pro. I put in all the updates. I checked it this morning. There's no updates available. The thing's already got infected with CryptoLocker. In 2 days, we're on the way there now to see how this happened, get to the bottom of it. So we're gonna, I guess, just inspect it, see what's up. All right, so when you have an active infection, do you see this file here? Can you see that?
Yes.
It's called decrypt. And here's your ID. This is the encryption key, or this is the key that they use to look up your encryption key if you pay the ransom. And it shows up in every folder on your computer, anywhere that there's documents. Yeah, this happened. This is what you can do, is you can go to the decryption key right here, right click on it, and you can see when it was created and what time. Windows 7, fully patched, right there. No updates available. So I think our next plan of action after this is we're going to load Windows 10. We're going to update that because that's auto. It's a little bit newer, so it's a little bit tighter. I got to go do a sweep of all these computers before we do anything though. Your computer working okay? I'm checking to see who the culprit is or why. What's going on. I have to check her laptop too.
I don't open any weird emails. I just delete them.
Supposedly Windows 10 is a little better, which is what you have here.
Look at this fish. Oh my gosh, it's a monster.
Alright, let's get to work. If you're in an infected folder, you notice that, I don't know if you can see this, but all the files, instead of being the actual files that they're supposed to be, are .onyon files, which is the type of encryption that this particular infection is using. Right now I'm just waiting for it to load Windows 10. I just formatted it to make sure that that there's no funny business on here. Still waiting. Just a moment. This whole thing is just a waste of time. Like this server was perfectly working and everything was fine. And then now I have to waste time fixing it. Literally, this is brand new out of the box on Friday. I'm taking the drive from the old server and I'm copying the files back off of it. Whenever you think something is going to happen, it happens. So you think, oh, I can wait until Monday to set up the backups. I'm installing on Friday. If I wait until the customer is here on Monday, it's not going to be a big deal. And then that's a shit idea now that I think about it. So the file they're most concerned about is their QuickBooks file, which is understandable. But our latest backup of it is on the backup drive, which may or may not be infected. So we're probably not going to plug that in until we get back to a test machine. This is my weapon of choice. It's pretty good, Kaspersky. I mean, obviously nothing's going to protect you fully, but it's better than nothing. We're loading Carbonite backup right now. So we got everything restored except for possibly the newest version of the QuickBooks, but we got at least a version of the QuickBooks. And we're just waiting for the updates to go in right now. Got it back to somewhat normal. It's still not 100% fixed because she lost some work time. Use online backup, concurrent. We remapped her map drive so she's back on the server. Back in QuickBooks multi-user. The only thing that so far we still have to work on is 1 day worth of QuickBooks data. It was not as bad as it could have been, but the whole point, that whole trip, shouldn't have fucking happened. It was a big fucking waste of time. Not their fault. Not their fault at all. Just, like that virus just wasted how many people's time? 3 people? And they're all on the clock for this company. So think about that. Yeah. So pretty much that's why fixing infected computers is a huge pain in the butt.
Yep.
And now the moment everybody always waits for, the moment with Curtis.
Curtis.